You can feel... Hi, Beanie. Benny got it for a coat, Margie. He don't feel nothing but toasty in his bits. Ma, feel the outside of this jacket. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
It is just cold outside. I'm just a cold... I'm a baby when it... I'm a baby. What?
It's cold.
It's cold. Well...
You try to the jacket. It's cold.
It's not as cold as it was when I woke up this morning. Oh. There he goes.
Which one?
Zip Kitty.
The cat?
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
I don't know what I did with my phone. And I'm trying to...
You just set it down?
Yeah, of course I set it down. I just don't know where I set it down. Benny? It was a miracle that I take Benny out. Because he went to the door and he's like, bark!
Oh.
And like, now! And I was like, oh, I know that. Urgency. So I just kind of... I had my phone in my hand, I threw it down, and then I ran over the door, threw the leash on, and put my shoes on, and ran out the door. Just in the nick of time, huh, Benny? You got a little upset tummy trouble a little bit? We all get tummy trouble from time to time. Everybody has different energy. Everybody has different astrology, so their energy all of our energy fluctuations happen at the different times, huh, Mom?
Uh-huh.
We've been talking energy since the 1970s. I have no idea what I did with it. I must have, flung it somewhere or something. Oh, well... Anyway, so, Stanley, you fist bidgety? You zip kitty? Fist bidgety, zip kitty? Zip, zip, zip. It was kind of a down day around here. I just didn't want to be outside at all. Found it. It's like where's the hidden object? Whatever. Because usually I have it face down and it's dark and it has these little stars on it and it's face down. So it's like, oh, all right, once my eyes adjust. Anyway, hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heoc empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. It's just kind of a down day today. It was cold. It was blister. It was breezy, Although I was in gratitude because I did not have to go out to a job where I have to do a bunch of nonsense and deal with a bunch of BS, handle a lot of dire situations for people that make a hell of a lot more money than I do. Oh, it's snowing in Illinois. Heavy at times for the next 60 minutes.
60?
Yeah. It's 28 degrees, says it feels like it's 22. See, their weather up there right now, it's I like it's so cute, the little blips, the highs and the lows, but their lows are higher than where I live. See, there's more, yeah. Well, I guess our days are going to start getting warmer again. I don't know. I don't like it. Although, this thing makes it more bearable. Even when it's windy, I just put this bad boy up and I zip it up. I don't care. Let's go do a walk around, DOGs. Let's go walk around, DOGs. It keeps the cold out. It does. It does. I just like being outside, and I don't like being outside when it's cold. So, And I don't like having to wear a bunch of extra stuff. Like, I kept this on because right before, that's why I was late, because Benny emergically needed to go outside, so that's what we did. I had 2 of these. I think the bitch in Arizona kept one of them. Anyway, so I feel like Marge, like how Mr. Rogers put his sweater on and hung it in the closet. Then I'm putting anyway. Life is fragile. Life is very, 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 very fragile.
Yes, it is.
I mean, people freaking lose their lives from a bonk in their head. Every day they're losing their lives from an allergic reaction. They're just whoop, whoop, expiration up, into shelf life. You know, it's a trip. You know, I mean, and if you get, and it's not, because it's not like it was when I was a little girl. You know, I mean, like I don't know, it's just. Whoa, Benny. I think it's not. He's trying to get it just right.
Yeah, he's trying.
Let me just hold this steady for you. So, Marge, what are you doing? Why are you doing that, Marge? That's weird for you to be holding the book, Margie. Margie, you and your weird behaviors, as he's like spinning around and around on a little pillow.
He's trying to get the special one.
I can't do anything to help you either, buddy. You got to make it just right for you.
Yeah, he's doing it.
He's getting there.
You can do it, Benny.
Way to encourage him, Ma. Where was that when I was 5? Just kidding. I'm so kidding, Ma. But this is just part of the stuff that I was going to talk about tonight, is like understanding if people do get of a certain age, you know. I hope a lot of young people, there's so many people that had kids that didn't mean to. You know it? There's a lot of people on this planet because thank goodness freaking the Catholic Church scared the dickens out of you. Otherwise, I could have probably ended up in some vaccine syringe someplace as an aborted fetus. I could be instead of, you know. That's a terrible joke. I'm not even going to say that. Anyway, so seconds and inches. I had a conversation with my brother today. It was a very nice conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked for like 50 minutes.
That was nice.
And it was so weird because I looked down at my phone and it was like for him, you know, California time, hour back, you know, and I'm just like, it was like, can you chat? And I'm like, this is a weekday. What the heck is going on? And he took a day off so he could do a couple things. So we're gonna get some pictures of the girls.
Oh, that's nice.
To put on the fridge. I got all those magnets and I've been waiting for, and now we got pictures. So he's gonna, the youngest one, she just turned 7. What's the matter, Benny? You hate it. Come here. Come over here, bud. I know, you hate it. Come over here. You want me to move that pillow? I can just hear him whining. Here. Is that better? He's just not comfortable. How about up here? Sometimes you like up there. Right? No? You alright? I hate when you're upset.
Oh, look. Good boy.
There you go, Ma. You give him some love.
Oh, good boy, Benny.
Nothing like Grandma's affections, huh?
That feels good, huh?
So, yeah, we had a real nice conversation. You know, I make a lot of good points with him. He says, you know, I can't argue with that. Yep, I hear that a lot when I have conversations with him. I said, well, think about how many people stepped into having kids, you know. Like, I think about what it would be like to be, to be you, Ma, in the 70s and having to just not just, a regular, like a court dispute, but when the father had the whole, county that was like endorsed your misery, essentially, I mean, that was a lot to take, because I recognized it for what it was. And there he goes. And it wasn't fair. And a lot of that stuff is illegal. But it happened so long ago, it just, just more stuff to get over, right? But, and just continuing, because we were talking about what kids can do. I remember cooking for Mom when I was like 5. Cooking for you when I was like 4. No, I was younger than that. I was probably 3 or 4. There's pictures of me doing the dishes on a chair at the sink with Indy or Pinky. Our first pets were rats. We had rats, Indy and Pinky. And there's a picture of me, and I have a big old smile on my face with a rat on my shoulder doing the dishes. Yes, little kid. And Jerry remembers cooking for you when after you had your finished your hysterectomy, when they took the rest out. Yeah. And he was cooking then because like his oldest does it like, because in a lot of kids are like this, they only want to eat the one thing. They're good with the one thing, and I don't understand. I guess it's kind of a scarcity. Like I was the kid that I ate the same thing. I just wanted to eat the same thing. Macaroni and cheese and hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, when I was and it would be, you could put it like my hot dogs. I loved them on this until I was like, I don't know, 4 preschool, I guess. I guess until after we moved. But I liked cold hot dog sandwiches. Cold hot dog sandwiches. Don't cook them. Don't cook just cold hot dogs. I always said cold hot dog sandwiches and macaroni and cheese.
I've always liked macaroni.
But it's not good. I don't know. It's not the same. It's not the same. I don't even like. There's none of the I guess I got to make good mac and cheese. I'd have to make it like from scratch, And you're so sensitive these days. I don't know if it'd bind you up, kind of thing. But God, it's just mac and cheese is just no. I don't know. I guess I could make it taste like it, because that's how you just got to make it right, I mean, it's this. But anyway, so there a lot of kids don't, especially now with all this, parents staying home the last few years more so. Less of the parents are cooking more and stuff like that, and kids don't have to, There's I was reminded today in our conversation of a book called The Glass Castle. It was a book and then they made it a movie. I never saw it all the way through it. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe now it's, and I came across the book not too long ago. I just have to remember where it is. And Jerry, he's like, I know you don't like to read. You're not much of a reader. It's because, I could read like the first paragraph and the last page and get the whole gist of the whole thing. So anyway, I have too many other things to do, and I'm a believer in sometimes I'll meditate on it too, like I don't know, I just get in the heart space of the, I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, so maybe I'll revisit that. Woody Harrelson was in it. It was in the movies. This is back in like this is during the hazy months, the 7 months that I went back out and drank after being sober for like 14 years. And then I had another moment of clarity. It all worked out. I'm not drinking. I'm still sober. I drank once since then, and it just takes my spirit. And every time I do it, it just verifies more what I already know. So it's really kind of dumb, you know. It's kind of dumb. So I went to freaking meetings. I religiously, like, more than church, like so many, like sometimes 11 times a week, sometimes 7 times a week, sometimes 5, number of years 4. It depended on how much squirrel my brain was going through and how much distraction, and I needed to listen to other people instead of think about myself. I learned to think about other people on my own initiative now. I don't have to be trained anymore. It's pretty much sunk in now. So but a lot of people are they're losing stuff. I mean, it's like there's a high turnover right these days. This whole year, so many people affected by loss. So many people, you know. And you can't help but think, you know, like when you got beef with somebody, it's like, and my family's like this. That's what I was saying today. I said, well, we've never been a particularly close family, and we don't ever talk about that heart stuff, you know. And like I found out stuff I didn't know today, and you know, people evolve and people change, and you know, it's not natural for people to stay as they always are. Yet so many people do. You know, it's like they're stuck in these loops, these life loops. And they go to and they might think, I mean, even me, you know, I might think I'm not living in any kind of pattern, yet there is nothing but the patterns of my behavior all over everywhere. So, human beings are trippy, and then you add the spirit. There's so many people that don't recognize that they have a human spirit, man. I think they're figuring it out. The whole we're all connected stuff. Are you all right, Ma? Are you nervous? Are you cold?
No, I was listening.
You're just listening to me yammer? All right. So, I was talking, you know, there's just like so many people that are sad in the world. There's just so many. And if I could think, you know, what could remedy so much of the sadness, you know? And I think it would help a lot of people if they could openly and freely share that inner dialogue in their head with somebody, and to get it out so it doesn't make it as big, you know. There's a lot of people, they got to understand that, you know, a lot of times freaking negative thoughts come with negative attachments, like literal demonic freaking attachments to get hooked to your soul and your spirit. There are ways to get rid of them. There's ways, natural ways to get rid of freaking evil freaking entities that are, you know. I mean, I think there's so many people, like, think about, like, you go into a hospital. I was recently in a hospital. You know, just me being in the hospital. If somebody was in that hospital that was, like, under surgery, under anesthesia, like when I was there and their spirit was out wandering, you know, I could catch a bad habit, just like a cold, you know. All of a sudden decide I want to start smoking again, you know, and they're getting part of their lungs removed from freaking, you know, lung cancer from smoking all those years. No, I don't have any inclination to desire to start smoking cigarettes again. I can't believe so many people do still. So many people still smokes, and this just, I remember my buddy Fred saying, in a year, I said, you know, because I'd go outside and people would smoke, and I'd hang out with them while they'd smoke, and it didn't bother me, you know. It It wasn't any kind of thing. And my buddy Fred telling me that in a year that smell would make me like want to throw up, or it would make me nauseous. I would not enjoy the smell anymore. And it was true, you know. That's why it's cool, because other people have like gone through situations in life as simple as quitting smoking and then, you know, no longer enjoying, and it's true. And I've been in like if it's a nice day, you know, and we're driving, I'll let my buddy smoke a cigarette in the van. I'll let somebody smoke in the van, as long as mom's not in the van or none of the dogs. I don't, even when I smoked, I can't remember. I always smoked outside because I didn't want my stuff to smell like cigarette smoke. So I always smoked outside. And I stopped smoking in 2010. That's just something else that fell away, you know. As you get older, the stuff that no longer serves you is supposed to fall away. Smoking is like drinking. It's like it's a spiritual abnormality. And I smoke weed. That's the only medicine I do. With all of the freaking aches and pains and stuff like that. That is it. And I don't even like smoking it. I prefer to eat it. I make real good butter, and then I make cookies out of the butter. I think I'm gonna like make bread next. Or something. I gotta do something different. I'm trying to eat less sugar, and the cookies is just it's not helping me eat less sugar. So gotta think of new alternatives. I think maybe I'll try lemon bars next. Haven't made lemon bars since my cubicle days. Back when I was tech support, man, I can't believe how many different lives I've had. You know, all around, all these different lives. Just always bringing with me. Just because Mom has said that my as long as I can remember, is how fragile life is, and how people don't appreciate how fragile life is. I mean, I never thought I was invincible. I think I had enough sense about me that I didn't do a lot of I've done a lot of dumb, stupid stuff, dangerous stuff. But like I was never big at putting myself or others at risk. Like, I was always the one, no, we don't want to get in trouble. And I'd seen so many examples of what happens. There's this one, I worked at my high school before I went to high school there. That was kind of a trip. So I got to, you get buddies with all the administrators and stuff like that. You always get buddies with like the receptionists and stuff like that. They always know everything, the ins and outs of everything. And that was pretty cool. But there's this kid who I went to school with, and his mom, and okay, okay, he wasn't supposed to. His mom, he asked if he could ride his bike to the Lake Shasta, up to Sinamudi, and his mom said no. And up a hill, and there's like a no bike lane and all this stuff, right? And she's like, no. And he freaking did it anyway. And then on the way back, coming home, he got hit by a car and ended up on the hood of the car and like hyperextended his leg at his knee and just really messed him up, right? And freaking his mom showed up on the scene because she was on the volunteer fire department. And so she showed up on the scene at her son's accident, And it's just like the truth always comes out. And freaking, Mom's intuition, you know it? Yep. For whatever reason, she said no. I don't know. There's so much this anyway. So I was talking earlier about that that Glass Castle movie, and there's so many people that have just had like really I think the people that that have rough lives now in the beginning of it are the ones that their parents, they're born into to drug and addiction environments. They're born into poverty, into that. I think that, but like when I was growing up in the 70s, there were still, the hippie dippies that like living in campgrounds and stuff like that. There's still people that like living, off grid and all that kind of stuff, that nomadic lifestyle. It's just a frequency people got, but I think it's important that kids have consistency, that they know that there are things that they have a stable foundation, and there's not a lot of kids that are not where I live. I don't know, not where I live, and it's such extremes because you have those that like parents don't do their kids any favors by doing everything for them and not letting them learn basic life skills. They're not. Laundry, dishes, cooking. That's how we were talking about that today. Is because is that like mom likes really plain food. I like more. Not. I like more variety. Like, I don't know. We have different tastes in food, but I just eat what she eats because I don't want to make 2 meals all the times. And with with people that have larger families, sometimes the cook is making 2-3 different meals for the picky eaters, and it's just like, okay, that's all. That's okay. If the picky eater is going to be picky, then it's time for the picky eater to make supper for the family to understand what it's like, right? Old enough, it's 13, 14, yeah. So, basic life skills. There's a lot of people don't have them, man. They just don't have them. And when I was in school in junior high or freshman high school, when at a school called Nova, it doesn't exist anymore. The building still does. It was one of those like Tatarian building kind of thing. It was like, who built this? Ain't no. But it was like, I don't know, because it was. But we also have the Shasta Dam right there too. But anyway, my freshman year, they only had one year for freshmen at that time. It's different now. But Nova was I don't remember why. It was like I don't know, I don't know why I brought up Nova. And this song isn't helping. Pitbull, messing around, made my whole train of thought derail. I don't remember why I brought that up. I'm gonna switch gears then, because I have no idea. It's just gone like that. Like yesterday's news. Speaking of, what's going on in the world today? Are people calming down yet? I listen to Ben's talks and I'm just like, man, it's like anything else. If freaking, if it happens, it happens. When it happens, it happens. I guess I'll see how prepared I'm not when all that stuff happens. But it's like every day, I mean, there's people, it's scary, I was telling Mom earlier about how kids aren't getting licenses until later. They're not having the desire to drive as much. Stuff like that. It's just, and I talk to people all the time about how what a trip what the world has evolved into, and it's not You know, yeah, it's still the same stressors, you know, but what could alleviate these stressors, really? Like, what, with all of the economic stuff, I mean, is that why people are still, I mean, I think here people drink because they're bored, you know? I mean, we live really pretty much in the middle of nowhere, so, I mean, that's a big reason why people do drugs and drink is because they're bored. You know, if they had more positive, but there's stuff to do all over the place. Everywhere. There's like, you know, there's trendy stuff everywhere here. There's ski, I don't know. You pick it, it's here. I just, the older I get, it's just I don't even want to go out. If anybody wants to come over, I'll cook for you. Come on over, I'll cook for you. It'll be great. I'm a good cook. I think I'm gonna make manicotti or something this week. Some stuffed shells, Ma. How's that sound? Cut up some garlic. Roast some potatoes. Maybe some asparagus. Ah, that might be yummy. I don't know. I feel like I'm hungry. I haven't been eating much lately because I had been eating just crappy. That's why I don't buy candy much, because I eat it. I eat it to get rid of it so I won't keep eating it. But I'm eating it all, you know, okay, eat it, just get rid of it. Be done with it. Food is such a weird, trippy thing. The stuff people have with food. I'm lucky. I don't like, you know, freaking I don't like throwing up. I don't have the build, you know, I like eating too much to be anorexic or anything, like to have those. And I know that so many people have been burdened by those, you know, have been burdened with taking on other people's perceptions of them. That's what the burden is. And not finding their own vision of themselves. That I think is the burden. Anyway, it was funny in the conversation earlier. It was like, you know, we're just one of those families. We're just not close. We just aren't. There's families that are really, really close, and they tell each other everything, and you know, and they're always at each other's houses. And I always wanted that family. I just could never figure out how to create it for myself, or even be involved in, because my other is like, you know, they got their family they're close with, so I know that they're capable of it. It's just me. So it's a trip, because like some parents just really don't have any interest in like being involved with their children's life at any age, or if they do, they just really stuff it down so far that it really seems genuine that they don't. But some people just aren't cut out to be parents, you know, and there's a lot of people out there that we didn't come from these kind and loving environments, so, and it's been hard, and it's been harsh, and it's been ugly, and it's been gross as the years go on. And just to witness how ugly people are to each other, how intentionally harmful they are to one another, it's hard to see, man, because it's just, things are just getting more difficult as time goes on. And I'm ready for the switch for people to really start becoming better to one another. But the way I see it, in order for that to happen, is people are going to have to start being better to themselves first. And when I start seeing more and more people getting, you know, fit and treating themselves better, then I'll be like, okay, here are the changes. I kind of see it here and there. You get those little, you know. For these couple I know from Omaha, they're on a weekend. Everybody likes to go to Illinois, Chicago. I flew into O'Hare once. I never that was never a place like I want to go to Chicago. You know, Ma? There's most cities I just don't care. But yeah, there's places I guess I've wanted to go in my life, but Chicago was never one of them. And I don't give a shit about baseball, so all that Cubs stuff, and I don't care about any of that stuff. And I remember Michael Jordan, his son came to Creighton because some school, some tournament was there or something, so his son was there and everybody was making a big deal out of it. And I'm just like, man, these people are no different than regular people. People inflate people. It's ridiculous. It's so lame with all the extra special treatment just because of who people are freaking. It's just, I hate that stuff because most of them can't even change a tire. So what do I care? What do I care about, stats and numbers and all your, maybe if I had a chance to specialize in something in my life. That's why I'm such a dabbler. I dabble in this and I dabble in that. Because at a very young age, I learned the necessity of the importance of being self-sufficient. It's very important, because there's been many times in my life that I've asked for help to help with solve a problem, whether it's a broken item or whatever, and nobody was around. So I just started learning how to fix stuff myself. And I just have always done that. Mom and I were looking at the stars with our star chart. I got this star chart and we got this big old cool window. I'm like, Mom, come over and look at the stars with me. So she came over and she's like, okay, there's a bright one, and that was what Lyra, it was Lyra. And then we looked at Draco. I see Draco all the time. And it was kind of cool. Mom liked it. Do you like looking at the stars, Mom? And then seeing that app to see the constellations in the sky, too? And I was like, Mom, there's so many different stories. Because I've been tracking the stars since I was a little girl. Since we lived in Morro Bay. We moved there when I was 2. From the time we could walk, we'd go down to the piers when the ships would come in, and I'd go around. Any luck today? Catch anything? And I just ask everybody, and then sometimes they'd let us on the boat to show us what they caught, and the captains always talked about navigating the stars, and how you can determine how the ocean's going to behave from the stars. I mean, and I picked that stuff up like nothing. I know it was all who I was a part of. I just continued the story of my last incarnation without my soul even knowing that I died. And the thing of it is, it's like that movies. It's like all those movies but I was a man in my past life. So in this incarnation, I'm getting all that freaking karma from just being a scumbag, for lack of a better term, for all that, So the way I see incarnation and lives and things like that, it's such a trip. Even like the astrology of people and their families, like I was thinking about that today. Like my brother and my sister, they were both Virgo. I was in a Virgo sandwich until Jessica died. But they're both Virgo, and they're from 2 different moms. So it was like, what in my dad's my dad was an Aries, and then I think, and then, yep, my step monster was a Sagittarius because her birthday is the day after mom's. So it was like, and he came from a Leo and a Sagittarius because Grandpa was Leo, August 24th, same birthday. No, I don't think they had. I don't think his birthday. No, I think his is the August 6th. I think is when Grandpa's birthday was. Their wedding anniversary was August 24th. My grandparents, and then my brother was born on their wedding anniversary. That's what it was. But still, Grandma and Grandpa were that fire. And then Grandpa, the fire and his addictions. He was a Leo. He liked the liquor. And he was just he was mean to his kids because his parents, his dad was mean to him. And then, his kids, my uncle just withdrew, was a hermit and plays his online computer games his whole entire life. And he's in his 80s. And and then my aunt, she's like 80, and she just drinks wine with her old lady friends. That's all And Grandpa didn't die sober, and he had an affliction for alcohol. And then my sister, she died as a result of living the lifestyle in her active addictions. So in order for me, I feel, to heal that family line, since I I gotta die sober to heal that. So hopefully it stops with me, and that maybe anybody in the line after me, they can see you don't have to die drunk. You can die sober. You don't have to live like that, because once it gets you, man, once it grabs you and gets a hold of you, people go do the weirdest things. They do the places that alcohol takes people are the darkest, seediest, nastiest parts of the soul, of the spirit that most people don't want to know that they have that in them. Those behaviors that they do when they get those inclinations, those drives. Just don't do it. Just keep the plug in the jug. Yep. It works for me. So, anyway. It's just better for society that I don't drink. It's better for me. It's better for Ma. It's better for our ecosystem. It's better. Yeah. It just does awful things. And I know that there's plenty of people that do have no problem with it. They can drink a beer here, and then there's those that just, they have no, it's like, wow. Wow. And it progresses too. It progresses, Sunday mimosas turned into freaking, oh my god, I just have heard so many stories, year after year, just story after story about how it's grabbed people and the places it's taken them. I know a handful of people that freaking committed suicide, and they were sober. They just, one got my but he was a good guy. He was a decent guy, Walt. Just a good old boy, trying to provide for his family, didn't really know how, kind of thing. A lot of times people get hooked up in relationships, and then they have kids, and then they figure out the relationship stuff isn't there. But now they're tied together because they got these kids, and they don't know what the hell they're doing anyway. He freaking doused himself with gasoline and lit himself on fire. That's how much pain he was in. That's a depth of pain that's a club that not a lot of people are willing to join. Thankfully, That's a source of sadness that I hope people don't. And that's the thing, is people don't realize. I've been talking about it years, how suicide's going to be going up if people don't start talking about the stuff that's in their head and getting it out. You know, there's just, people are just too concerned about somebody being judgmental. Oh my God, what are they going to think? Tell it to a stranger that you'll never see again. You know, I mean, who cares? You know, it's better than people keeping all this nasty garbage in their minds, and then, you know, it festers and it grows, and then they're doing weird stuff, man. The weird stuff people, I can't believe all the weird stuff people are into. Creepy, weird stuff. Anyway, it was funny. My brother today, he was like, I sound like Dad. I said, so what's worse, I sound like Dad. I can hear him in me, and I'm like, put on the brake. That's funny. He had a major, both of my parents, see, that's the thing, is both of my parents had major traumatic head injuries, brain injuries. TBIs, is that the, you know? So you had your stroke, and then you had, you know, and then he had his, where the covert pipe rolled over his egg, outside of Phoenix, where my sister was killed from a head injury on a motorcycle accident. Isn't that a trip? Isn't that weird that they were like in the same? I wonder if he was at the same, if she was at the same hospital that he went to, if there's any way to find out. I'm going to give him a call. You know, that's the thing, is like, that's how we've always been. We'll go 5 years without speaking. People in my family, they're just not real close, you know. I think my dad and his brother live right across the street from each other, and I think he said that he saw him like once, maybe twice in that year that he lived there, you know? Just people don't bother. I'd bother. If I got to live closer to my to Mom's granddaughter, to my nieces, every year I'd let them pick a theme. Like whatever they're into, and then I'd make them a birthday cake for whatever theme they're into. You know? That'd be. Anyway. So, and we do photo shoots all the time. Stuff like that. But in an alternate universe, in a parallel universe, right? In my meditate state, where I go off into the no place space, those are the things that I think about, my happy thoughts. Look, Ma, Benny Ball is all, he curled up. He's over here. Look at this. He's so freaking cute. Look at him on the chair.
Oh, he's on the chair.
Oh, no, he's on top of the kennel. See, it's the kennel. And I put a blanket over it, and there's a dog bed inside the kennel.
Oh.
Well, over here. He's right there. That's Benny. I think the light was blinding her. It's getting kind of late. Anyway. Not a whole lot going on here. I'm not really interested in although tomorrow I think I will leave the house. It'll be the trip though. I think I'll just run in. I got a couple things on the list. And then I'll just run in it's so weird that I'm getting like all this mail at the same time. Like Jerry's sending us stuff.
Oh, really?
Pictures of the girls and things like that. And then And then Jessie sending stuff from one of her organizations that's supposed to be at the post office tomorrow, and then I got stuff coming next, so I gotta pay attention.
What's gonna
So like when it's gonna come, because I don't, it's like 15 miles. The post office is like, so it's like, I just kind of zone out. I do what I do whenever I'm here. I put my music on, one ear only, and I'll go the back. I don't know. I still get a little triggered. I still get that rapid, where my heart races when I go over by anywhere nearby where we used to live, and that's where the post office is. It's down from it's on the south side of town. And that's the only time I have to go there is to check the mail. Otherwise, I would never go to that part of town ever again, probably.
Why is that?
Because it just makes me uncomfortable. Because I'm just like, I'm still sad about all the... I think that the whole cat situation is going to linger with me for a while. I'm powerless over it, but it's a lot of love we left there.
Yes.
And I came into it with the headspace, like, you can't get attached to any of these cats that are here. What is here stays here. Your loyalty is to your 4 dogs and Stan Lee, and I knew that. I just fell in love with so many of them. And then the lady was such a freaking nut job that it made it weird that I don't even want to do it no more. Oh my goodness. You were gonna send me something? Yeah, that jacket. Later, Ahmad. I missed you. Sorry. Hi, naked and laughing Jessica. How are you? Jessica, that's right. Your name's Jessica too. I don't know if you got that. Oh, I think you know. I think you saw something on Twitter or something. You did love my cookies. See, thank you. You were there on I commented on that on somebody on a tweet that somebody made. They said they put an ounce in a pound of butter. How much is a pound of butter? 4 sticks. So an ounce of trim in 4 sticks. I use an ounce in 2 sticks. And I said, and people like my cookies very much, which is a true statement, verified by Jessica. People like them all over the place. Yeah, I could make some lemon bar. I made the best lemon bar. And this is my lemon bar recipe. Is if you look up the Paula Deen recipe for lemon bars, that's the recipe that I use. And the crust is like a shortbread cookie crust. It's so good. It's going to taste different with can of butter in it, obviously. Anyway, focus, Margie, focus. But my embellishment is I always like to turn things up a notch, and my embellishment is I put in white chocolate chips. Yeah, so lemon bars with white chocolate chips, they're banging, they're good. Yeah, I never thought I was invincible. Like I'd go to do something. But I did do a lot of whiskey weird stuff because I didn't know I died. I was just this little girl, so I used to have this thing. I would do backflips off of like walls and stuff. I did it one time. I hurt my back. That's the first back injury I ever had. I remember they wheeled me in on a gurney. I think they thought that like mom was abusing me or something. But I wandered off, and it was a rest stop out of Ventura, California, and I wandered off, and I did backflips. So yeah, it's just what the things we. But I learned that's our spirit. tells our body, our soul sac, learn. Don't do that anymore. See what happens when you do that? These are the consequences. These are the things that happen. And I wish, and there's so many people, God bless them. There's so many people that they can drink like a regular person. I cannot. I tried for years. I tried and I failed. And I have been too hard on people that do it all just because I don't understand. That is something that I could covet if I'm not careful. And other human beings, I would desire to want to be like them and just be able to drink. Go up and get a bottle of wine at the market. They got nice wine. I checked. I walk through the aisles. I see what they got. They got some decent IPAs, some nice beer. Just get it 6. But that's not me. I can't just do that. Drink a couple. I drink the 6-pack, and then I go up and I walk up, and then it's closed, so I'm hanging out at the bar, and then they don't like my kind, and then somebody's kicking me in the face. I end up in the creek. It just that's the places that I go. Yeah, there's a lot of generational trauma, man. I'm trying so hard. I'm so trying just to heal a lot of it. And that's it. And that's why I work so hard to keep me and Mom together, because she started out in an orphanage. I ain't putting her in a freaking institution, another home. She ain't ending up in the same way she came in. Not as long as I'm breathing. Her daughter. I will take care of her till my last breath, and hers. Whichever one. We might do one of those Carrie Fisher deals. Where one of us go one day and then who knows. But, yep. Kids need structure and discipline. So much. So much discipline. I think that is what is my saving grace in today, is because I was as being autistic, and I'm sure I was ADHD and all those other alphabet soups, but I don't Mom didn't put those labels. I think she was encouraged to not let them label me, right? That's right. To don't let them say what I am. Although it was very difficult, but I did it. You know how hard it is for a freaking mind like mine to sit, to not want to squirm around. Although on the Greyhound bus rides for 11 and a half hours. That was, it was so, that's how I learned to meditate. I just stare out the window and watch the mountain lines, the lines of the mountain. They always look like the bodies of people laying on their side to me. Yeah. Yeah, this ain't a restaurant, for sure. Yeah, I just, and it's everywhere. It's all, here it's everywhere. Like Saturday, Sunday mornings, there's just beer cans everywhere. Just the roads, the side of the roads are just littered of them. Now, where I live out in the 90s. And it's this stretch of road. It's just a straight stretch. And then you go down into the canyon. I live down in the canyon before you go up in the hill. Before you go up to Quest is like 12 miles north. And then Taos is like 7-8 miles south on 522. And there's a woman out there every single day, and she's always picking up cans. Always. That's like her loop is to go out there, and she picks up cans for however many hours of the day. Every time I go into town, I've seen her. I was thinking, that's what I need to find programmers, because I'm not a programmer at all. I'm the idea person. I'm not a programmer. So, fine. Artie's having a dream. He's dreaming. Yeah, there he is. He's behind there. He's okay. Yeah, he's all right. But that is to have, because that's one thing is GPS. It works everywhere. You don't have phone service, your GPS is still going to work, right? So an app that is sponsored by the city, the county, the state, whatever, they all have a gazillions of dollars. Any of them can do it. And then you have people go out there and you put your start time in. You have your employee number, your tax ID number, whatever that is. You put that in. It stamps, okay, you're at this coordinates at this time. You take before pictures, right? And then you do whatever job it entails around the city, the county, the state, whatever it is. Whether it's fire removal or forest treatment to thin down the forest for, fires so they don't freaking or it's picking up garbage, or it's just cleaning up trash or whatever. And then at the end of the said job, after you're out there for an hour or two, however long you're there, you got your before picture and then now your after picture. Right? And the time that you're there, right? It's all annotated right there on your mobile device. And then submit, whatever the going rate for a city employee is, $20, $25 an hour, whatever it is, boom, $50 in your account. A lot more stuff would get cleaned up. I got ideas all day long, every day. And I even go to the places where like the city council people are to pick up trash. They do have office hours. I should go in and actually talk to her and then have a conversation with their IT department, because this is actually something that could be done, and it could be done in communities all over the place. There's garbage everywhere, and people would pick it up if they got paid to do it. Since everybody's getting paid to do stuff for nothing or whatever. There's a lot of people that wouldn't mind just going out and picking up garbage for a few hours, making freaking $50, $100, because they just don't even want to deal with people. So, anyway. Wow, I missed a lot. Windy City, I've been to the airport. Yeah, but in my friends, they're like, they're on a weekend getaway, snow over, the snow is falling, nice. They need it. They deserve. I'm like, dude, I haven't had a freaking day off in 6 years where I haven't had to not think about another human being. And I'm not a parent. I don't have kids. I didn't want to have kids. You know why I didn't want to have kids? Yeah, I love whiskey too, Jessica. Don't think I don't. I'm a total whiskey girl. Man, I almost walked home to Sacramento from San Francisco one time on whiskey. That was a wild night. People hanging from the rafters at the freaking... I've seen some crazy stuff. Yeah, ego is not your amigo. It's easing God out. And I understand God as good orderly direction. Mom and I were talking about that today. I said, Ma, so many people believe in weird shit now. And they outwardly believe in weird stuff. And to support their belief systems, they do these weird things that are required by their belief systems to prove that they are devout, that they're devout, that they're all the way with whatever they believe in. And there's just all these other gods and religions and all these other beings that people pay homage to that have nothing to do with doing the right thing and all to do with serving themselves and just doing whatever they want. we gotta be inconvenienced in life as human beings from time to time. It's just what makes you a decent person, is doing stuff that you don't want to do, but it's gonna make the day for somebody else. Holy heck, I've been running my mouth. So, you're obsessed with lemons? I like lemons a lot too. Like hot tea with lemon, or just like hot water. Ma used to drink water, just lemon water. It's good for you too. Lemons are really good for you. Really good for you. So, I don't know. People are definitely coming into their heart, because I think that more people are losing stuff. Either that, or it's the adverse effect, because we have free will. It's either your people are coming into their heart, or they're going to stuff that shit. It just hurts. When you lose people, it just hurts too much. It can't handle, it's just, you're never going to get past that pain of the loss and everything. And I know a lot of people that are right there right now. And I pray for them every day. That just maybe it'll suck a little bit less for them. I see it, you know. A lot of people just, God, I can't believe how many. I mean, I lost my sister. She's 39 years old. That was a big blow to me. We were beginning to build our relationship over the last couple of years. You can't, there's no having a healthy relationship when people are active in their addiction. You're having a relationship with a persona, with somebody that's acting like their shit is together, but behind the scenes they're doing all kinds of fucking stuff that their grandparents wouldn't approve of. So, anyway. Thank you. My thumbnails, I take those. I take all my thumbnails. I started taking pictures when I lived in Omaha. When I knew I was like, okay, we're going to move west, and people didn't believe me. And I was already not even living there, you know, but my spirit was already in Oregon. And then we all know how that started. But, I don't know, I've always loved to, I've always been, I have all these photographs, I'll bring them out. I got a bunch right here. I'll bring them out from, I've been taking pictures since I was like 15, since like the 80s. Too bad, like, here's some from when I was in Greece. Here's me and my brother back in the close years. I think this is when I drove him out to Dixon, Illinois. Because he wanted to go to the birthplace of Ronald Reagan. And it is weird how busy that frickin' place was. What? Bizarre. The program. People's program. This is when I had long hair. I had some makeup on. It's my friend Corn. Called her Corn because she's so corny. Another picture of me with hair. Camping with my buddy Zim Zum. That t-shirt I was wearing from when I was a credit card vendor. Okay, here's a picture of what war's about, kids. This is what war is really about. Just so all these freaking LDs can feel like men. Bullshit. Where's the other ones? I got better ones. I got one here. Here it is. Why I hate Humvees. You can't really see it. Here, I can remedy this. Okay. Okay. So above the corner of the mirror, right there, you can see there is just rows and rows and rows of Humvees. Those are all Humvees just lined up. Now imagine, if you will, that is not my line, that's a quote. That's some, what was that? What was that? Twilight Zone? But imagine, just imagine being at home. Being at home, and then all these freaking people just come rolling up in your neighborhood. What, like all those people in Iraq did, in the name of something that doesn't even exist. Because as you know, the last couple of years, people ain't it should be evident that people ain't living free unless you got a lot of money. Then if you got a lot of money, you can do whatever you want. That's what the world is about. I mean, there's no rules, regulations, policies, procedures for people that have a gazillion dollars. They just go around, they fly around, they do whatever they want, and then they tell everybody else what they need to do to support the systems to feed the grossness so that they can continue their gluttonous lifestyle. It's weird because of their weird belief systems. But anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough, huh, Ma? To go back and watch Quincy. We're on the last season, season 8. Mom's been watching. She got Quincy for her birthday. We've been watching that. I said, Mom, you miss Longmire or Northern Exposure? She's like, I miss Northern. I said, okay, we'll watch some of that tomorrow. Plus, we got, I'm kind of freaking tripping on Roku. Because I always just had cable and stuff like that, and then just watch stuff on my laptop. And I got rid of Netflix a couple years ago. I was even thinking about getting that back again. To see what the psyches are doing there. And because Mom just watches DVDs, you know, she's just into the DVD. That's just fun. But we got the Roku, and it has all these old TV shows. The A-Team. And see, all these old shows, all the shows, they have their story element. So I remember, like, picking those out when I was a little kid, like, really young. Like, once you see what the element was, I could always see how the episode was going to end. And then I could go outside and play. Because once you get down what their element was, you know. People have their element, too, their cadence, how they behave. You know, whether they're peaceful beings or like stirring the shit. I'm not really big on those like stirring the shit. I think life is hard enough as it is. Anyway, it's about all I got for